I just received an expanding garden hose with spray nozzle and thought that I would bring you along for the opening of this. I've never owned one before, and I'm looking forward to doing some testing of this product. It arrived in two parts, this green hose holder and then the bag with everything else in it. Little instructional manual, and then came with a spray nozzle and the hose and a couple of washers. So let's take a look at these individually. Okay, let's take a look at the hose itself. The end that'll go to the house has a rubber washer already in there, and that does swivel so that it's easier to connect to the house. This part has the fabric over the rubber interior that stretches. This is a 50-foot hose, so we'll see what the length is now and then measure when it's full. The other end that goes to sprinkler or whatever you're going to use does not swivel. It's a 3/4, but it does have a nice solid ball valve, and you can tell that it is metal, not plastic, so that is very nice. Spray nozzle is plastic, has a screen washer inside, as you can see in there. It feels a little bit on the weak side, but definitely better than some I've seen. Rubber handle, rubber grip on the back, adjustment knob here for the amount that the handle is held back. It does have the option to stay on, and has the various settings that we will get into in just a moment. Let's find out what the hose length is before it has water in it. I'm going to stretch this out here on the ground and then use a tape measure and find out how long it is. "17 feet. The green plastic hook that came in the package is meant to go over your faucet and just hold the hose like that. And I want to see how well the hose is held here when it is attached to this piece. So that swivel is a little bit on the firm side at the moment, but it does work. I imagine it'll get better as this thing is used. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, that still holds it quite well, even when this is potentially in the way. Now let's consider attaching the spray nozzle. It already has that rubber washer in there, so I'm just going to screw this onto place. Okay, that was simple enough. Now it's time to crank this thing up and see how well it expands. The instruction booklet said that for the first use, you may have to physically pull out some of that exterior fabric on the hose, and I'm definitely finding that to be true. That it would not fully expand unless I pulled that fabric out a little bit. This is a 50-foot hose, so I want to see how long it is now that it's totally expanded. Approximately 47 feet, but I'm sure I could stretch it a little bit more to get that extra 3 feet. Let's take a look at the spray nozzle. That's considered mist. Definitely a mist. Angle. Ah, it's angled down. That's cool. Soaker. Jet. Cone. Shower. Flat. And full. Ah, interesting. When full is pushed, the hose kind of shrinks up and pulls at the handle. Actually, it's pretty good force when it pulls at the handle. And lastly, center. very similar to jet. I'm going to turn off the water and see if it shrinks on its own. I wouldn't expect it to. All right, I'm going to go release the other end and we'll see how quickly this goes back to its 17 feet from its roughly 50 feet original. Well, it retracted in a safe manner, I believe. Not too dangerous. Now, one thing I would like to test is the fabric that is on here. If it gets dirty, how easy is that to clean? So let's find out real quick. I've got a muddy spot down here. I'm gonna take the hose and just run it along, get it pretty dirty in a good spot. All right, that seems like it's pretty well dirty. Now I'm going to rinse that off and see how well it cleans. I've turned the water back onto the hose to see if this will wash itself off pretty quick. Oh yeah, nice. That fabric does not hold dirt at all there. That's pretty cool. Alright, so that's nice. It definitely will clean up quickly. So, being my first attempt to use one of these types of hoses, they are convenient to store in a very small location like this. That is definitely one aspect that I am liking. So, a few things that may become an issue. It holds dirt a bit more than other hoses, but it does wash off the fabric quite nice, so it is something to consider there. It becomes heavier than a garden hose when it has water on the fabric, but I mean it's only a 50-foot hose, so it's not bad. I really like that it has this metal closure, a ball valve on the end here, so that you can close the hose when you're hooking it up to a sprinkler or a spray head. One downside was when the nozzle or the hose was opened to its fullest point, it is going to reduce the length of the hose. So let's say you were trying to use a sprinkler that was using a lot of water and you opened this to full, it may move your sprinkler back some. So that's kind of an issue that you might want to consider. But if you're using the spray head to water flowers or plants, it's definitely nice to have, because it won't retract with a lower flow water like that. The instruction booklet for this hose had some helpful tips. Don't leave it pressurized all the time, or it may have some damage. Don't leave it in the sun too long, as it may degrade, which is true for any garden hose. If it's going to be freezing weather, drain the hose and store it during those cold times so it doesn't break the hose. I like this a lot. I'm going to be using it here on the back side of the house, and definitely look forward to testing it in the future. If you'd like to check this hose out, I have a link to it in the description down below. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.